creating positive change. We as humans are all creatures of habit. We tend to live within our comfort zones, and many people are reluctant to accept new challenges and step outside their comfort zone. We must remember one thing though, change is inevitable. We can look at change as something that's positive, or we can look at change as something negative, but it's always going to happen. The world we live in is constantly changing, and technology in the workplace is constantly changing. And this change and the rapid pace of change offers a great potential for positive change in ALDOT. I have witnessed some positive change in the technology throughout my career, and let me give you an example. When I first began my career as a graduate civil engineer in the design bureau, I was in the design section, and in the design section there was one room that had computer-aided drafting design, or CAD. And inside that room there were about 8 workstations. These were huge computers with huge dual monitors. But this area with the workstations and the CAD equipment was off limits, except for those individuals that worked there. There was a lot of resentment. There was a lot of fear from the older gentlemen that I worked with. And I was told many times by some of the older gentlemen that did the drafting manually and by hand on the board, as they called it, that they would go to the house if they were forced to learn that computer equipment. They also communicated to me that as a young engineer that I better learn to use the computer equipment because that was the way the technology was going. So they realized there was a need for positive change, but they were reluctant to step out of their comfort zone and put forth the effort to learn. Approximately 5 years later, I moved to the 1st Division in North Alabama, and I moved into pre-construction from construction. Once again, I saw the same fear of using new technology. We had one room in the design section in the back, again, that had one computer-aided drafting machine. And we had one individual that was assigned to utilizing that equipment. Everyone else was forbidden to use that. But we had hired some younger people that had initiative and desire to learn, but they were not allowed. And I can remember a quote from a young man that was told that the people out there in the drafting room on the drafting table could produce twice as many plans as that stupid computer. So what we had there was a failure to communicate the need for the new technology and the need for the young people to pick up this technology and benefit their jobs. Later, when the 1st Division moved into the new Gunnersville office, we all had new desktops, computers placed in our offices. These computers were big and bulky, and the monitors were large and the screens were small, and all the equipment was quite expensive for the time. I can again remember a supervisor saying, "I'll go out before they put one of those on my desk." He was not communicating to the co-workers that this was a positive change and that these machines would lead to a new way of working. But some of the younger employees took off and learned this technology for their benefit. And it was within their comfort zone. As a result, the 1st Division was one of the first pre-construction sections to develop half-size plans that could be emailed back and forth from one office to another. One individual in that office self-taught himself CAD and MicroStation. He not only took the initiative to do that, but he taught himself design work and design criteria. And he encompassed and took on that challenge to learn how to utilize that equipment to the best of his advantage. And he eventually became, in my opinion, one of the best designers in the department, simply because it was communicated to him that that technology was a benefit and he ought to take advantage of it. If he had listened to the bad communication that had been prevalent, he would not have succeeded. Today, everyone has a computer. Some have 2 or 3, PDAs, laptops, cell phones, iPads, or other electronic devices. I dare say that we could go back and do things manually, drafting or computation. The use of email has changed the way we communicate. We can ask questions and get answers immediately. Large drawings and documents can be sent electronically without the need for printing or plotting. Communication is key to doing business. Positive change has come about with this new technology. It is now communicated that we should embrace this technology and also capitalize upon it. If you want to change something, you must get people to buy into it. You get people to buy in by communicating the benefits and convincing the players there is a benefit to them. Creating positive change in any organization can be a challenge, but with proper communication, it can be done.